Welcome back, everybody, to the big show. Here we go on a Tuesday afternoon. Happy Tuesday to all of you out there. We've got our normal crew minus one because normally Cade McConnell joins us on Tuesdays, but I think he's preparing for his football camp this weekend, so Cade will not be joining us on the show today. Is that correct?
That's right, Steve. He's getting ready for the camp. He'll be doing a twofer with us tomorrow and Thursday. He's got all the details coming up on tomorrow's show. But Cade McConnell, very excited to launch his first Cade McConnell Passing and Skills Academy. So for people who are quarterbacks, wide receivers, safeties, and for kids who are middle school through high school, they could all be a part of it. It's happening this Saturday out at Canutillo High School.
I love it. I absolutely love that. And hang on one second. There we go. I'm taking care of the old controls into Alberto's cans. Can you hear the show now, Alberto?
Yes, sir.
That's good. Hey, nice LSU polo. Did you get that on Facebook, or is that a one you actually purchased at a store?
Goodwill.
Goodwill. Love it. By the way, so important as a PSA on this radio show, despite the fact that all over town you could spend upwards of $70 to $80 to $100 for really, really nice athletic apparel, Alberto is living proof that if you shop smart, shop S-smart, you will find ways to get great deals. Like what you did at Goodwill, because that is a quality LSU shirt. It looks like the same kind of shirt I would see on the sidelines. That is like a game-issued shirt. Just out of curiosity, how much do you remember paying for that shirt out at Goodwill?
It was probably $5.49.
Oh,
I remember
my
the little
God.
ticket.
Was that in El Paso or was that in Houston?
That was out in Houston. So when I lived in Houston, at the beginning, I worked as a chess teacher, and I lived really north, and I was a chess teacher, like, in the city. So it was 45 minutes away. So I would just go to the schools, to the areas of the schools, and then go to the Goodwills around there before I had to go into work. And then I have a really good eye, like, oh, look, this is nice, this is nice. I like athletic apparel, and that's what I would buy.
That's awesome.
That
I
is
love
awesome.
it. You know, it's thrifting at its finest, Alberto. I feel like you can find some gems sometimes. You have to have the right eye, though. And you have to be patient. You have to be willing. It's like baseball, right? You have to be willing to really bat 200 plus and maybe go like 240 sometimes. But, hey, for all those times you actually swing, connect, and get on base for a good thrift, it's worth it. I found my driver, my current driver that I play golf with, Steve, at Goodwill for $3.
That's incredible. What a great deal. Michael
Seriously.
Plundo is the fourth member of the team today. Have you found some gems at Goodwill over the years?
Unfortunately, I've come away swinging, but striking out, so no.
There's still time, man. There's still time. I'll tell you a funny Goodwill story. This is the honest-to-God truth. There was a shirt that said, I was there, UTEP BYU, from like 1986 when the Miners shocked BYU. Wow. You know who found that shirt at Goodwill, bought it, and started wearing it all over town?
Was it Chad?
No.
Who was it?
Jordan Palmer.
Oh, that's so cool.
When Jordan Palmer was playing at UTEP in the mid-2000s, I remember this well, he found a I Was There shirt for UTEP BYU, bought it, and then was excited and started telling everybody. When they were asking him where he found it, he was telling everybody, I got this at Goodwill.
That's amazing. What?
Oh, yeah.
That shirt right there. There's no price tag. You can't put a price tag on that shirt.
I'm actually surprised that Home Field has not replicated that particular shirt and sold it online with their UTEP collection, considering the Flying Miners and all the other classic old-school UTEP looks have been very popular for them.
You know what, Steve? Maybe we just need to keep this in-house since the Oscar Ideata agency is partnering up with us with the Win the West contest, which, by the way, we got your box ready to go. We're going to do an unboxing video here soon enough.
I can't wait.
Maybe we just ask them. We just throw the idea to them. Their graphic design team is excellent. Ignacio and Daniela, they do a great job. So maybe they can recreate something like that, and I was here, or I was there, or I remember the BYU game where UTEP won in great fashion.
That's my Bob Stool pullover.
That is the great look, too. Did you get that at Goodwill, too?
Yeah.
Really?
I have like So there's a iconic Bob Stoll pullover, and he's like, I think he's being lifted up by the players, and he's got this beautiful orange pullover.
And you're wearing the exact same one.
And I have the same exact one. I found it at Goodwill as well.
Oh.
Your hero.
You know what's funny? That could be Bob Stoll's pullover.
No. It's
Is it a smaller one?
It's too small. It's
okay.
small.
So it's not large enough to have been Bob's.
Unfortunately, not.
It's a great pullover, though. I love that.
It is, and it's well kept. It's
By the
really
way,
well kept. The lettering hasn't come off.
If any of our listeners have the original I Was There T-shirt somewhere stashed away from the BYU game from the 80s, can you please post it on Twitter and X or on our app with a photo so we can see it? And then maybe we can try and recreate it for fans to have and enjoy here in El Paso. That would be awesome.
That would be amazing.
It's an iconic shirt.
I actually think somebody on Etsy is selling this. I did a quick Google search. I'm going to have to send it over to you.
Okay.
You tell me if this is close to being accurate or what. So let's see if this is right.
It's very possible that if you're sending me the shirt, I think it is.
Oh, my gosh, Steve. This is incredible. This shirt, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. There's no copy. There's no trademark whatsoever.
Are you telling me you're telling me it's the shirt, right?
It is the shirt.
It's the shirt. And you found it on Etsy?
I found it on Etsy. Somebody's selling this right now.
Yeah, send that over
send
to
this
me.
to you.
Send that over to me. I want to see that. I'm interested in that. And all I can tell you is that is something we need to replicate. Because even though we all know that nobody was there, because I've seen the crowd shots of that game, the fact that they put a shirt out that said I was there is even funnier. And, that is definitely something we need to do. So as soon as I get a chance to see that look, I will confirm that with you because I have seen that shirt before. And it would not surprise me one bit. If I texted Jordan right now, I feel like he still has that T-shirt that he bought years ago. I don't think he's probably not even gotten rid of it. So that's even more incredible.
Yeah, you just need to, if this is right, Steve, you just need to text this picture to him and see if we're on to something right here.
All right. That sounds like a winner to me. In fact,
I just got a 2-factor authentication on my end. So
is that what you're working
Alberto
on?
was dealing with that on his side earlier today. I don't get these, different social. I was just trying to upload this on social media to you, Steve, and it wouldn't go through. So give me a second. I'll get this to you.
Yeah, take your time. I'm not worried about it. That's fine. But we'll get a chance to talk about that. And that is a really interesting concept. And by the way, let's do the unboxing for the Win the West shirt on air. Let's do it live. I want because if you're going to record me, I'd rather you get the genuine reaction on the radio as well as video-wise. So we'll get a chance to do that, and excited about that on the program as well today. We're with you till 6:30. Tim Haggerty will be with us from Salt Lake. It's his first trip out to Salt Lake this season. It's the only trip for the Chihuahuas to Salt Lake this season as they get ready for a battle with the Bees. That's right, the Bees. And that'll be coming up tonight, 6:35. We'll have that for you on 600 ESPN El Paso. Again, looking forward to that matchup. All right, Adrian, I just saw the text message. I think that was it. I'm pretty sure that it's such – and by the way, it is such a simple T-shirt. It really is. It looks like all somebody did was put the final score, say I was there with an exclamation mark, and an old UTEP helmet, and that was it.
That's genius, man. I love it. We gotta figure out a way to get these printed.
We do. So anyway, I'm going to find out, by the way. I'm going to ask Jordan if he still has his shirt. I'd like to know, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just ask him, is this it? Can you confirm if this is it? And also, do you have this?
Yep. That's right. I want to find out. I'll see if he still has his, and we'll go from there. So that is a terrific way to do it. All right. Before we go to break, I mentioned on air yesterday to say a prayer for Russ Bannister, folks. And I do want to mention some sad news, and that is that Russ passed away earlier this morning and left behind an incredible legacy. He really has. Somebody that when I came here in the mid-'90s was already part of our Football Friday Night team, was somebody that was beloved, respected. When he wasn't working with us, he was also a football coach. He was an educator and a football coach, and somebody that whenever you saw him around, whether it was high school games in El Paso, whether it was UTEP games, because he also was part of the media hospitality group out at UTEP football and UTEP basketball, always was so nice, had a smile on his face, always wanted to know how you were doing, and just one of the good guys. We lost one of the good guys today, folks, is the best way to describe it. I've got so many great memories of Russ, and all I can tell you is he was the ultimate team player, the ultimate friend, and somebody that would do anything for you. That's just the way Russ Bannister was. And on behalf of everybody here at 600 ESPN, El Paso, and the Town Square Media, we just want to offer up our condolences on the passing of Russ Bannister. Someone, Adrian, you had a really good chance to get to know over the last 5-6 years you've been with here at this radio station.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Steve. I mean, I'm my thoughts and my prayers are with his family right now. Russ Bannister, we could say he's such a great guy. Gadsden High School, he never forgot about that school because that's where he was coaching at, he taught at, and you know what? He always mentioned them with Football Friday Night, so I wanted to give a big shout-out to Gadsden High School as well. Some touching tributes from others from Football Friday Night I just want to read. Steve Escajeda, such a nice man. I always found Russ in good moods and willing to do anything to help the broadcast. This is coming from Brandon the Iceman Cone. We'll never forget Russ and his kind demeanor and heart. Was always in a good mood and happy to see people. This is from Alex Nicolas. I'll never forget the 2015 playoff broadcast I had with him at Burgess. Made me sound like a pro with his coaching insights and perfect stats. One of my top Football Friday Night memories. May he rest in peace. So great tributes right there from all the guys from Football Friday Nights.
Man, we've lost more than a few over the years. It's really tough. Again, this show's also been on the air for almost 35 years, so that's going to happen over time. But again, as you mentioned, Adrian, terrific tributes and one of the best people ever. Russ Bannister, folks, gone, but his memories will last with us forever. All right, quarter past as we get going here on Sports Talk today. 505-6009, our telephone number. Let's swing it out right now to Charlie Wan and get our first of many traffic updates here this afternoon. 19 past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk. All right, I have received confirmation that, yes, Jordan Palmer did get his UTEP BYU shirt at Goodwill during his playing days. However, he did say that he had a similar but different one. So I'm trying to ask if he still has it. And, does he have any old pics of wearing it? So I'm trying to find out what his looked like because it sounds to me like, Adrian, this has become a shirt of legend. And I feel almost like the one you found on Etsy was probably reproduced, yes, whereas the one Jordan has was probably the real deal.
I agree. I mean, I think that we got to get to the bottom of this. So the fact that this is not the right one, hey, I'm cool with it. I wanted to know this one right here, but now we got to find the right one. Maybe I should just post this one on Twitter next if Jordan Palmer is unable to find a photo. So if one of our followers has it, they could throw a photo our way.
I just remember how excited he was. Like, he was wearing that shirt all over the place. And this is 20 years ago. And talking about and just bragging that it was out there at Goodwill and he found it. So, number one, it goes to show you that when he was at UTEP, Jordan Palmer shopped at Goodwill, just like Alberto and all of us. And number two, he found perhaps one of the great one-of-a-kind UTEP shirts that were ever made.
You know, I feel like we should give some advice. It's too bad Cade's not here because this would be perfect to give him some advice. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, you should go thrifting and maybe see if you could find all these vintage UTEP shirts. You never know. You might be able to find some of those.
Maybe we need to spend a day with a crew and go with Cade and go thrifting with him and see on video what he encounters during the time he goes out looking for stuff.
Okay, I think that's a very solid idea. We just hit a couple of the Goodwills, maybe even throw a Saver.
Yep.
Yeah, Savers in the mix. Uptown Cheapskate would throw everybody in the mix.
I mean, here's the thing to note, okay? And that is there's a lot of people that will give shirts away or sell them during garage sales. Others that just take whatever doesn't sell or just they want to get rid of, and they just give it away. They give it to Goodwill. They give it to Savers in a big garbage bag and say, here you go. And then somebody might uncover a gem. Like, you have no idea how many old UTEP El Dorado jackets have been at estate sales and garage sales and Goodwill or Savers. And those things are from the 80s. The El Dorado jackets were those orange jackets with like the light blue and white, and it looks like kind of like a members only style jacket. And those were super popular when UTEP was going to the NCAA tournament every year in basketball. All the donors that were in the El Dorado Club wore those things everywhere.
That is so neat. I have when I was thrifting a lot in college, I shouldn't even say it that way. When I was trying to buy cool T-shirts in college because I had no money, when I would go to some of these thrift stores, Steve, I even wear them to this day, like UTEP softball shirts that are really nice from Nike. And to your point, these were definitely thrown in there or donated by a coach or somebody who's associated with the program who has no, just wants us to get rid of some stuff.
That's right. So anyway, we'll find out. I'll let you know if Jordan comes up with any photos or anything he can send me and go from there. But yeah, I've already sent him a text. He replied that it's similar but a little different. But, once he said that, I knew my story was right because I remember like it was yesterday when he was spotted around talking about how he found this shirt and how excited he was about it.
Okay, so we might have to actually throw this on social media because we might uncover some really excellent gems like we're talking about right here for UTEP, stuff that people have thrifted. Like, what's your best item that you have ever thrifted that has a UTEP affiliation? Alberto just gave his right there.
I'll tell you what mine is, okay? And it's not even real, but it's awesome, okay? And I wouldn't even call this a thrift store because it's not a thrift store. But years and years ago when I was at Marshall's, I found a UTEP wool flannel baseball jersey that was never sold or worn. I've never seen it. It's not real, but it looks like something from the 1950s or 60s. Like it's that same wool flannel style with like the UTEP on the front. There's like a number 9 on the back, and it's so unique and so different that I couldn't resist. I'm like, dude, this is like right up my alley. It's almost as if UTEP had a baseball team in the 50s and they were named UTEP, not Texas Western, what it would probably look like, and I jumped all over that.
Wow, I don't even know. You got to take a picture of that one, Steve.
I'll wear it to work tomorrow.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
I'll bring it to the station, and you can see it firsthand.
I think you can even throw in what you found at the garage sale. If you found a true gem in that mix, I think there's some good items there, too, that you can also include in this conversation.
Would you like people to just call in with their greatest UTEP find that they've ever had? Somebody that's just uncovered something that realized it's either a one-of-a-kind or their coolest item that they own, thanks to whether it was a garage sale, estate sale, thrift sale, whatever it is, something they encountered that just realized it's something super special.
Yeah, I think this would be a great thing, and I also really want to see some cool stuff from UTEP, so let's do it.
All right. 505-6009, that is our telephone number. We got lines available. You can also hit us up on Twitter and X at 600 ESPN El Paso and on our mobile app where you can download and listen to, and a lot of ways to do it. And by the way, if you're doing this on Twitter and X or on the app, send us a picture of what you have. Don't just talk about it. Let's see some visual evidence. Let's see what you own. We'd love to check that out. As we welcome Domingo back to the program today. Domingo, what's going on?
How you doing, Cappy? I like what you said, but let's go to business. Like what I said what I put in the chat. Paso is back in Mexico. Is back coaching L3 again.
Yes, he is. That's right. Do you think a third time is going to be a charm?
I don't know. Like, he already did 2 international teams, Japan and Egypt, and he got fired because of, well, I heard with the Japan one there was controversy. I heard there was controversy because the JFA kicked him out because of a corruption scandal in Spain. And when he did Egypt, well, after they lost the knockout round of the African Cup of Nations, well, you already know what Egypt did.
Yep.
And then that means USA better get a good coach right now. Find a good one, because I found on Instagram, in the Today and USA page, we're going to play Mexico in October, not here in America, in Mexico, in the home of Blue America's arch nemesis, in the Estadio Akron in Guadalajara. So that means the USA better get a good coach now.
Well, let's see what happens. And by the way, when USA plays Mexico, who do you root for?
USA,
All
all
right.
the way.
All right. But if USA plays Club America, who do you root for?
Oh, that's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Yeah, I know it's like I'm really twisting your arm, man, and it's not easy. You guys, because think about this. I know you said you root for USA over Mexico when it comes to the national team, but if it's USA against your beloved Club America team, do you root for both?
I don't know. That's going to be hard. That's just like picking Dallas Cowboys or America or Cowboys and the USA Soccer.
All right. By the way, that's good you brought that up. Dallas Cowboys or Club America? Like for you, who are you most passionate about? Like who is the one team in professional sports that above all else you root for no matter what?
I go for both. Even though I've been to an America game 8 times in my life, but none of them were the Azteca. 7 was in Juarez and 1 in El Paso, and the Cowboys. I only went to one scrimmage as a kid at the Sun Bowl.
Yep.
And not a regular Cowboy game in my life.
So would it be the Dallas Cowboys or Club America? Which team do you root for the most?
I'm going to pick both.
No, you can't. You got to pick one. Got to give me one. Give me one. One team that shines above all of them. Who are they?
All right. America, because we've been winning trophies for the past decade, and the Cowboys needs to wake up this season.
All right.
And also on the part of the UTEP stuff, I got good UTEP gear at home. I think my favorite treasure would be a bowl jersey from the 2000s that a friend of mine gave me.
Nice. 2000 bowl jersey. That's fantastic. That's the Gary Nord team that went to the bowl that year in 2000.
Yeah, this is the one that remember, Gary Nord was the original godfather of modernizing UTEP football and the new UTEP modern logo.
That's right. There it is. I remember. Remember like it was yesterday when that went down. All right. Good job. Appreciate the call, Domingo.
Thank you, and I apologize from yesterday's yell.
That's right. Do you want to scream one more time since I'm giving you permission and letting you yell as loud as you want into the phone before you hang up? Do you want to just scream as loud like you would if you're an America fan? You got my permission. You can yell as loud as you want right now because I'm prepared for it. I'm not. You didn't catch me off guard like you did yesterday. So if you want to scream into the phone right now before you end the call, just one more time celebrating that America win, you have our permission. You can do it.
Oh, all right. Oh, so all those Bravos who thought was going to win America, I'm going to say, óyame más, America's better.
Thank you, Domingo. I feel better now. I do. I feel better. Appreciate the call. There it is.
Me too.
Bottom of the hour. See, that's the way you do it. You let us give you our blessing, and then you just go crazy and do whatever you want to do. Don't you love when he gets so worked up, he accidentally hits a button on his phone? Isn't that the best? When all of a sudden he hits the 5 button accidentally, and then he starts yelling into the phone. It's good stuff.
That's when he goes to 11.
Yep.
He was at a 10, and he goes to 11.
He had to get to a new level. You're right. He had to go to a higher level with that. I totally agree with you. All right, bottom of the hour. Let's send it over to Michael Plundo. He's standing by with this Sports Center update. But gear goes. What's your biggest treasure? Something you were able to acquire someplace is our question. And by the way, while you're there, Michael does have the AFC East. He's has that published right now, so you can check that out. His predictions, his ceiling and floor analysis at 600 ESPN ElPaso.com. I'm actually on that right now. I noticed his Aaron Rodgers shot in the beginning of the article, and I like this. I like how he breaks it down with last season, new additions, and then goes to the ceiling and the floor and gives you a little bit of everything as far as the teams go. And that's all, again, up online at 600 ESPN ElPaso.com. And check it out. Even has burning questions as well. I like the ceiling and the floor. I'm impressed that you believe that the Dolphins' floor is 8-9. That surprised me a little bit because what if Tua gets hurt? Then what?
Well, I mean, this team was in the playoffs with Skylar Thompson starting, and in that same season, Steve, Skylar Thompson did play a majority of that season where Tua was still dealing with concussions all that year, and they still were able to get in, and they made that game very competitive with the Bills. I believe they only lost by 3 points. Miami almost stole that one.
I hear you. By the way, I do question your ceiling for the Jets. You don't think they can win more than 10 games if Aaron Rodgers stays healthy?
When was the last time the Jets won 10 games? That's my question. And Aaron Rodgers, a 40-year-old coming off a torn Achilles and not even a full drive, just 4 snaps. And just with the team, Steve, I'm sorry that hasn't, had a great past. I got to see the Jets prove themselves first.
Well, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but to me, ceiling means like if everything goes well. I still believe that if everything goes well, they could be 12-5. That's if everything goes well. That would be my ceiling. I don't expect it. I don't think it's going to happen. But when we say ceiling, that's always like best case scenario. And to me, 10-7, they probably don't even make the playoffs as a wild card team at 10-7. And if you're calling that ceiling, you're essentially saying that the Jets are going to disappoint this year no matter what.
I hear you, and I'm not only looking at just Aaron Rodgers. I'm looking at other players like Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, players that have dealt with a majority of injuries in their career. And Steve, if those guys all get hurt, I mean, do the Jets want to relive what they had to do with Zach Wilson? I don't know. I don't think they want to. I mean, Tyrod's a capable backup, but he's not capable of holding it down for a very long time.
All right. By the way, just so you understand this, Michael Plundo is conservative. Like, he is not somebody that throws these big predictions out. I think the ceiling for Buffalo you had was 11-6. So you wouldn't even go 12-5 with Buffalo. So you're a hard grader. You're one of these people that you don't want to go out on a limb and really project big things for anybody, whether it's the Jets, Buffalo, or anybody else right now in this division.
No, definitely not. I've learned from past mistakes, so I think it's best to, take this at a cautiously optimistic approach. And it's the same thing for the Bills a little bit. I mean, I like Josh Allen. I think he's going to keep that team competitive and still in the playoff mix, but they just lost Stephon Diggs to Houston, and Josh Allen was tied for second in interceptions this past season. And interceptions have always been a problem with Allen throughout his career so far. And an AFC conference that's not getting easier. We'll see what happens with Buffalo ahead.
Okay. Well, again, check it out. 600ESPNElPaso.com. Michael Plundo's AFC East analysis is up right now for his division. Meanwhile, Enrique Ortiz gets into the show via Twitter and X and says, my best UTEP merch is my UTEP replica jersey with a New Mexico Bowl patch I had put on. But lately, I've been loving my Minor Magic jersey and Texas Western cap.
Okay, I like it. It's merch. It's like good gear that you wear. It's like your go-to stuff. We're kind of looking for something that maybe you've thrifted. Maybe you got a garage sale, acquired somehow like that. I was doing the digging on my side, Steve, of my favorite. It's got to be the Bearfax signed by Don Haskins and Ray Sanchez. Bought it for $1.75 at the Bookmark.
Seriously?
Yes.
All right. Now, I was gifted something years ago from Kurt from the West Side. Good friend of mine. He gave me one of the hardest to find pieces of 66 memorabilia that's out there. He gave me the 66 Sporting News issue with Texas Western winning the national championship. Not the Sports Illustrated issue that everybody has, but the Sporting News issue. It is much harder to find. He was able to get it and gifted that to me a long time ago, and I thought this is cool because in terms of just hard to find stuff that's authentic, this is probably at the top of the list. I mean, The only thing harder to find than that would be an original program from the game, and those usually go for a couple grand, or original ticket from that game, and that also goes for a fortune.
This goes for a pretty penny, Steve, on eBay currently. There's only one seller right now who's got this one up. So looks awesome. This looks super vintage. I love how this Sporting News looks here, especially with Texas Western. And the Bears' face on that, it looks great.
It's cool. It's very, very cool. 38 now past the hour as we continue here on Sports Talk, 505-6009 if you want to get in. Look at this. Jordan just sent me a vintage picture of him wearing this UTEP shirt. Now, let me say this. This is completely, I got to see this. I wish I had the better scan But this is a totally different shirt. Number one, it's orange. I Was There is on the top. It's got the UTEP score. It has BYU. It has a football on the bottom. And I can't figure out who he's with. It might be Johnny Lee Higgins. It's very possible it was Johnny Lee. But it's a shot of him at the Sun Bowl wearing the shirt. And it looks like Jordan actually took a picture of a picture. That's how vintage that shirt was. This is awesome. I don't know if we're going to find this shirt. I don't even know if we're going to be able to recreate this shirt. It's so good. And it looks like if it was Johnny Lee next to him, he's wearing a shirt he found at a vintage. Like they both came out with wins out at Goodwill, and they're both rocking their shirts, posing inside the Durham Center right when they first built it. It's a cool
I gotta
shirt.
see this one. I gotta see this right here. This sounds excellent.
Right. I'm airdropping it to you right now.
Okay. Big shout out to Jordan Palmer. I'm a huge fan. This is great stuff. Okay, I'm looking at it now. Wow. Maybe we can, Steve. Maybe we can recreate this. This is awesome.
I don't know, man. That is a tough go. I mean, that we need more detail on that shirt because it's a little blurry. It really is. But that shirt looks like incredible. It really does.
We just need basic font right there. I Was There. We need UTEP on the top, BYU on the bottom.
It looks like there was a Pay Dirt Pete, and I can't tell what that is. Like underneath, does that even
That's
say?
a football. It's a football.
No, above the football.
Okay.
Does that say BYU or
It
is
might be
that
a Cougar?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
All right, that's going to be a hard shirt to
Okay,
find.
here's what it is. It's the minor that's like pickaxing the BYU, so the BYU font is like going down.
Is that what that is?
That's context clues at its finest for me.
I got to tell you this though, compared to the other shirt we saw, this one's a winner. If we could figure out the details to this shirt, that is a winner. Really is.
Yeah, the other one looked like color, that I could have done it on Microsoft Paint or something like that. But this one looks like somebody actually, like an artist actually designed this one.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, I am impressed.
Oh, and that is Johnny. That's Johnny Lee,
that's what I thought. Who, by the way, is wearing some other crazy-looking vintage shirt that he also found probably at a thrift store. Because looking at that, look at that. That one is, and unfortunately, Jordan said he doesn't have that shirt anymore. So there you go. Well, we got to find that shirt. We got to uncover that because that's a beauty. 41 past as Sports Talk continues. 505-6009. We'll take a timeout. Come back. More in a moment right here at 600 ESPN El Paso. It's completely out of the realm of possibility. So all we know is Jordan does not have the shirt anymore. And there's an old blurry photo he sent me. But it does look really cool. And if anybody listening has an I Was There UTEP BYU shirt that's orange from that game in 86, give us a call. 505-6009. We'd love to hear about it. Because, yeah, it's a neat shirt. And Adrian, I've never seen it before. Probably will never see it again. And unfortunately, Jordan does not still have his.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be a tough one right here to try to replicate. I want to take on this task or whatever, but maybe we'll get some good vintage shirts that'll give us other inspiration. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe so. All right, let's go to Eddie in Fort Bliss. He joins us next on the show. Eddie, what's going on?
Not much, Steve. How you feeling, brother?
Feeling okay. How about yourself, Eddie?
Not too bad. So I asked Adrian, and he told me to defer to you on this one. Does my wife and her student loans count as my best UTEP gear?
No.
No,
it
the wife does.
No.
Student loans, maybe not, right?
Yeah, exactly. Your wife, as far as UTEP gear, you can go with that. That's fine. Although you didn't, I'm sure you didn't find your wife at a thrift shop.
No, Fort Bliss.
Okay.
A little bit different. But
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say a little different.
So
yeah.
here's my question. have you noticed the eggs that Team USA has been laying?
Oh, yeah.
The men's basketball team.
100%.
First, you barely scrape by South Sudan. And then you need a prayer and a Hail Mary in order to make it past Germany. And that's just, friendly competitions, right? If I notice, this is like, remember when, was it not Tim Duncan, but I think it might have been the team before Tim Duncan in like 2004, where they were hyping themselves up and then they got bounced out without even medaling?
Yes.
Or, is this reminding you of them or what?
I mean, I don't know. I'll say this. I don't know if it's a lack of motivation.
No.
Which I sometimes feel could be the case, but you think that maybe the roster's just not good enough? Or
no, what do you mean? What do you mean? It's amazing.
So you tell me, what do you think the issue is? If they're struggling against teams they should be crushing, what's the issue?
I've red flagged this since last summer, Steve. This was so concerned by me. I was concerned about Team USA. The world is getting a lot better in basketball. The clunkers that they laid the last 2 weeks is a reflection of their roster's fine, right? Like their roster is the best roster and most talented roster across the world. They should be dominating these teams. It's a result of the FIBA basketball that the NBA does not lend itself to, and all these rules. They're allowed to be more physical. The big men are absolutely destroying Joel Embiid down low. I'm thinking to myself, what is this? Like, he's a top 5 player in the NBA, but he's playing across the world, and then he's suddenly soft. And they're relying on Anthony Davis and LeBron James to close out games for them.
So are we?
Sense.
So is the one takeaway? Okay, because you're supposed to say that the NBA is king compared to the rest of the world's talent. Well, if the best NBA players are struggling with individuals that we don't even know who they are, then does that mean that the rest of the world has not only caught up, but that the NBA is not nearly as dominant of a basketball league as it was 32 years ago when the original Dream Team made a mockery of the first Summer Olympic Games that they participated in as pros?
I think that's definitely it. I mean, it's it. It's not the same sport anymore as far as the Olympics. I feel like you look at across the board, Franz Wagner is looking like young Michael Jordan on this Germany team right now. Dennis Schroeder, he killed it in the World Cup last summer. He was killing it for Germany this time around. These countries, they step it up when it comes to Olympic basketball. And for Team USA, there's maybe times they take it for granted. But when you're relying on Steph Curry, LeBron, AD down the stretch, I thought this was the year of handing the torch to like Anthony Edwards and Joel Embiid and Jason Tatum, the next generation of Team USA.
Should they replace Kevin Durant?
Yes, they should with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, I agree, because if Kevin Durant is not a go and you're wasting a spot, that's a huge disadvantage. In fact, Jaylen Brown is a guy that came out of the NBA Finals as the MVP. How is he not even in right now?
I know, man. And counting on LeBron, these late game situations, I mean, at least you're counting on a guy who's a proven winner, right? And who's didn't log a lot of miles during the playoffs. He didn't log pretty much anything in the playoffs. So you get a fresh LeBron in this stretch. But how long is this going to carry you? I'm a little concerned. It's going to all depend on shot making down the stretch in some of these games. And Team France, that's the team right there, Steve. I think matchup-wise, that's the team I'm really, really worried about.
The fact that we're talking about Team USA and being concerned, saying it's the best pro team they could come up with, and it still might not be good enough to win a gold, makes you wonder, are the best American NBA players right now, do they pale in comparison to the rest of the world?
It's a different sport across the world. You look at Euro basketball, that sport is so much different than the NBA. NBA is all about threes, not playing any defense, and I think in the Olympics that catches up with you.
You would think, though, that the best players in the world can adjust to any styles. And the answer is no, they can't. They're so used to playing their style that when they try to go out and play against Euro styles, they're completely lost. And that's another issue we have, and that is how one-dimensional the NBA has turned into as far as the game being played.
You know, with Drew Holiday and Derek White, everybody was wondering, why are those guys on this team? That's why, to play defense and grab rebounds as guards, because those are the only two guys who are willing to do it, not the other flashy guys. And, hey, those other flashy guys are worried about other things.
It's going to be embarrassing, though, if this team lays a giant egg in Paris and comes home with nothing.
They got to win the gold, man. That's the standard always for Team USA.
It's their sport, 100%. All right, 1 down, 2 to go. We got 90 minutes of sports talk left. We'll keep it moving right here, 600 ESPN El Paso.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk. Adrian Broadus here. Now it's time to talk a little downtown El Paso with Lupe Diaz from the Downtown Management District. They are actually doing a annual survey to ask the community's response about downtown El Paso with a chance to win a $100 gift card. Lupe, welcome aboard. How's it going?
It's going great. Thank you for having me, Adrian.
Thanks for doing this. Now, Lupe, we love downtown El Paso. We really came off a successful downtown Barstool Open. I wear my hat all the time now.
Good.
So I love all the stuff that you all do. And I also love all the stuff that is coming up with the Downtown Management District. So not to tease anything, just to be on the lookout for all our listeners out there. Yes. But you tell me, how does it help, just generally speaking, you all gauge to put on different events across El Paso by using surveys like this where you're asking the community's input on what they like to do and what they don't like to do downtown?
Yeah, so we use a survey, like you said, to see what kind of events people want to see come to El Paso, or to downtown El Paso, I'm sorry. Also to make sure that they think our downtown is safe, that it's clean. We use a survey to, like you said, to gauge what events people want to see come back to downtown El Paso. There is a question on there for that. So, like with us, we look at and see, like, let's say people want to get to know more of our restaurants, or they want to see a music fest, things of that nature. So then our team works on either reaching out to somebody that can do that to see if they would want to hold an event downtown, or we take it upon ourselves and like when they created the downtown tasting tour, or when our executive director created the Barstool Open. We also want to see what they think of different places in downtown, like the baseball stadium, the museums, things of that nature. Or if you live downtown, what do you think about living downtown? Is it pet friendly? Is it walkable? Things of that nature. So it's a really good survey to help us figure out what everybody thinks and what we can improve on, to help bring back that foot traffic that we used to have. It's doing great. We're doing really good, and it's coming back to life, but we can always do more, and we want to hear what the community thinks, and we want to be able to continue and improve downtown El Paso.
Yeah, you just look 10 years ago, and by the way, the survey can be, I'll say it a couple times, the survey can be found at downtownelpaso.com, but you just think 10 years ago, Lupe, where we were downtown El Paso, it was just starting. It was like the start of the revitalization, the start of the El Paso Chihuahuas that you just alluded to right there.
Yeah.
I mean, our radio station, we go out there all the time. We were just out there this past weekend catching a ball game, but it's great to go downtown, but it's also great to get the feedback from the community. If you go downtown to a baseball game, was parking accessible?
Yes.
Do you feel safe when you're going to a baseball game parking, or a soccer game for the El Paso Locomotive FC, or some of the concerts, or like what we've been promoting on this show as well, the Plaza Classic Film Festival.
Yes.
So a lot of reasons to go downtown. You can think of it seasonally, like, hey, I love to go in the summer because of the baseball games, or I love to go in the fall because I love to catch a soccer game.
Yeah.
Some people love to go in the winter for Winterfest,
Yes.
and so on and so forth. But to get the community's impact, or their feedback on all the impact that downtown El Paso is trying to do here to offer some more events in the city, I think it's super beneficial. I mean, it all kind of ties in, right? The
Yes.
parking side of it. That's part of your experience when you go out to some of these events that we just talked about.
Yeah, no, everything coincides into it. The parking, if there's enough restaurants, is there enough friendly things to do for families? So everything in there we use to better downtown El Paso.
Where do you see the most areas for improvement as far as just, maybe adding new events, adding more people out there? Do you think we need more just traffic as far as foot traffic goes for just people to go downtown? What are you kind of seeing as far as areas of opportunity for positive growth downtown?
That's a great question. Personally, I think foot traffic. I think the events are there. I just think El Pasoans need to get out there and explore. My favorite thing is people say there's nothing to do in downtown. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? There's so much to do. And I was in the same mind before I started working for the Downtown Management District. And I would go like to the little shops. I would remember growing up going with my parents. And then when I started working, I was like, oh my God, all these shops have little events on weekends. There's big events coming down. You know, there's so many restaurants. I mean, seriously, the first year at the DMD, I did so much exploring in restaurants. And even it continues now. So I think the foot traffic, I think if everybody would give themselves a chance to go down once a weekend to explore once a month, I mean, you will fall in love with downtown El Paso. There's so much to do.
There really is. And I think the first thing that people are going to think of when they hear this interview is they're going to say, well, it's the parking that deters me. The parking that frustrates me when I go downtown. Lupe, I went downtown recently, and I was realizing there's new parking garages popping up everywhere. There are paid parking spots, but when we're talking about weekend, especially after hours, you can park on the street and not have to worry about things like that. And hey, look, you factor that into your night. So if you're worried about paying for parking, maybe you don't get that dessert at the end of the night. Or, if you're worried about paying for parking, maybe you choose a different restaurant that you would, not normally go to and plan your night out a little bit better downtown.
Right, yeah, and there's so much parking. You can visit our website to downtownelpaso.com, and it says find parking, and it'll show you all the surface parking lots, all the covered parking lots. Park 915 will also show you where all the meters are. You can pay through your phone now, so even if you're staying a little bit extra somewhere, not the 2 hours you paid for, you can just on your phone and put some extra quarters in there, not having to worry to walk back. And like you said, meters are free after 6 o'clock, and they're free on Sundays, so there's a bunch of parking. You just gotta go explore and find out where the parking is, or visit our website and you can see it. But there's a lot of parking.
Yeah, and at the same time, if somebody's like, look, this is one of the things that deters me, you all still would like to know. I mean, that's also part of the survey, right? I mean,
yes.
If we're talking here still 2024, 10 years after I was talking, or at least maybe a decade plus after this revitalization project of really trying to improve downtown El Paso, if parking's deterring people from going down, I think you all would like to know that.
Definitely.
So then you guys could try to come up with more solutions for people, right?
Right, yeah, so we can look into that situation and see what we can do, work closely with the city, see what they can do. So yeah, all this information will really help us to figure out what we can improve in downtown.
In your experience, or I guess I should say, just from your personal knowledge, would you say our variety is pretty high as far as eats and drinks downtown? I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head. I can think of an Italian spot. I can think of a burger spot. I could think of, a Mexican food spot downtown. But would you say there's variety downtown as far as eats and drinks?
I think there is. I mean, we just have the Curry Bowl that opened up, La Bang Bang, great Mexican food at Barrio. Lapa Lapa has great seafood, so does Max. I mean, I think there's a little bit of everybody to come down and enjoy, from Rockstar Burger to even, going to the upscale hotels to Sabor, really, and Sin 11. There's something for everybody to come down and enjoy. Sushiito. So, yeah, I mean, I think everybody can find something down there.
What's interesting is downtown El Paso used to be the spot of our Downtown Street Fest and also Neon Desert Music Festival. I noticed in the survey, there's even questions about things like music festivals or concerts possibly, in downtown El Paso. I feel like whether it's, going to see Rocky Horror Picture Show this past weekend at the Plaza Classic Film Fest, or, if you're actually planning a concert night out there, it's always a good thing to kind of think about downtown El Paso when it comes to live entertainment or live music.
Yeah, we have live entertainment all the time. If it's not like a big concert like Sal y Limon, I mean, even like the little the Tap has live music, Sabor has live music. So there's live music all the time going on in downtown.
Awesome stuff. Well, so the survey, again, enter now. It's downtownelpaso.com. You can enter the survey and win a chance to win a $100 gift card thanks to the Downtown Management District. Lupe, thank you so much. It's great to get the insight from you. I'm curious to hear the feedback on this one and what you all find, and I can't wait for the next event with the Downtown Management District.
No, thank you, Adrian, for having us on.
Awesome stuff. Let's take a break right now. When we come back, more Sports Talk here on 600 ESPN El Paso.